Hey, listener. Hey, Jordan. It's the end of 5 years of this podcast. Can you believe it?
Looking at us, I can believe it. We're old withered men.
Yeah, it's been 260 episodes. We started on April 24th, 2018. That's when the first one came out. And man, a lot has changed in that time, huh?
You know what? It's true. I mean, we're talking over the internet in two different countries, for one.
I mean, your life is unrecognizable.
That's true. It is very different.
But mine is as well. So it's, we've done a lot in those 5 years. And yet, it's done so little.
Maybe the idea is we've done a lot but made very little progress.
I think that's what it is. Very little progress.
Yeah. We've watched a lot of science fiction TV shows.
Yeah, I mean, definitely we've kept a record of the TV we've watched more than we probably ever have in our life.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, there's for better or worse, there's a record of every single thing we've been watching. So we're just like, hey, how did I feel about that episode of Swamp Thing in 2023? I'm like, don't worry, we have it recorded.
Yeah. Do you think there's any for better for that, or is it mostly just for worse?
It depends on the show. Some of it you're like, I'm sure we'll go back and be like, oh, what a good time we had.
Well, since we're recording this, Jordan, it means it's time for our annual hiatus. Mm-hmm. We're going to take a break from the show for a bit. We do this every year after we do a full year of podcast and, reevaluate it, take a breather, have a nice time away from the podcast and kind of decide what we're going to do going forward.
We're still going to talk though, right?
You and I?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh, no. Oh, that was a very ambiguous answer.
But I mean, before we do, Jordan, we did something a little bit different this year. We did multiple season TV shows, which is something we've never done before. Mm-hmm. We sped run them. We didn't watch all of them. We kind of just did a best of run of these seasons. How did you feel? Did you think that worked? Do you think that was an okay thing for us? New for this year?
I think it's funny when you're doing it because sometimes work is tough or relationships are tough or you try to there's a lot of episodes of these shows. I do think two of the shows that we did long speed runs that I look back more fondly than I think maybe the show even deserves is Sliders and not Deep Space Underwater. What do they call that show? Sequest, DS9, DSV or whatever. I know they're not great shows, but there's something about those longer shows where I look back and there's times where I'm like, I wonder what those other episodes are. Where you look at a show like, one of these other shows we've done a season of, and I'm like, I think we probably watched enough, even if we didn't watch all of them. But there's episodes I wouldn't mind going back to because I know there's ones we've missed.
Interesting. So it wet your whistle for more than
It depends on the show. I mean, I think both those shows, I could have seen watching as silly and bad as Sliders got. I'm like, I gotta watch more episodes of Sliders.
No, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting to watch something that ran for multiple seasons. Just because when you watch a season of a show, sometimes you'll see it being tweaked over the course of the season. But this is the first time we've ever been able to see large changes, first wave added characters, and the narrative really changed and was quite different by the end of it. Even though we didn't watch the whole, I think we escape potted that. But by the final episode of the season, it was unrecognizable in some way. So it was interesting to kind of see a show evolve over multiple years this way, but only having to watch snippets of it.
Yeah. I like that you mentioned First Wave because I'm almost no memory of it.
You loved that show. It's your favorite.
Did I love First Wave? That's the aliens are coming to get us, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it was all right, I guess.
What are your other favorites from this year, Jordan? The ones besides ones you just watched. What about Project UFO?
Project UFO was okay. It was okay. It had its moments.
I was trying to see what you even remember from
Project UFO. I remember we did that Vampire Time.
Forever Night.
That's right. Yeah, that wasn't any good. A Swamp Thing I enjoyed just because it was so bad. You hated Swamp Thing, which made me enjoy it more.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad show.
It was bad. So I remember some of them. I remember the TV movies. We watched a couple, I think, better TV movies than we have in the last year we watched some really bad ones. This year it seemed like we watched some pretty good ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like testing your memory to see what you remember. I know it all comes and goes. It just waves over you.
Well, it's funny how we're talking about this. We've done it for so many years now, and there's been so many episodes. So it is funny what sticks in your mind and what doesn't. And sometimes it depends on really like, how much time you have to focus on something or how much it just grabs you. And other things sort of just sort of fade away. Like you said, what's that show? First Wave. Like it's not going to stick in my mind forever,
Yeah, yeah. What do you think? Do you think you remember the bests and the highs and the lows? Do you think that's what really stands out and the rest kind of just gets washed away?
I think so. I think probably.
Great. I'm going to test you on that knowledge a little bit later.
Okay, sure. Is that how it is for you, though?
I think I remember most of everything, so...
That's unfortunate for you.
It's once it's in there, it doesn't go away.
I'm like a murderer who like wakes up and my hands are bloody and I'm like, what just happened? Like I don't know, Or you're savoring the details,
They don't go away.
You're
Jordan.
washing that hair and you're pinning it to the board.
I mean, you are a sociopath. So.
That's not nice.
Just form no memories of good or bad.
Just the bad.
No, you're a nice man, Jordan. You're not a sociopath.
That's okay either way. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, also we should talk about, since we're taking a break, we're going to put bonus episode for charity on pause. I mean, I don't know. I maybe if you email us and you ask if we'll do one during the break, maybe we might consider it. I think we're going to go down for a bit, take a breather though. So I would say if you haven't done one and you've been thinking about like requesting a bonus episode, email us first. Don't do it right away. I'm not guaranteeing anything while we're on break.
Unless it's about Swamp Thing, then yes, we'll do it.
Yeah, Jordan's die. He's already watched them all, so he's ready to talk about it.
I just want to see the episode where Jimmy or whoever gets abducted. That's all I'm looking for.
This is all that you want, is this kid to be abducted.
It just was so insane.
But before we take that break, Jordan, we've done this for 5 years now. So that's 52 episodes a year, 260 episodes total. I thought it would be a nice time to look back, have a little retrospective look at everything we've done. And by that, I mean, maybe I'd look at the kind of, let's say this is going to be approximate because it didn't come out neatly, but kind of top 5 episodes we've watched, episodes, that kind of thing, like a top 5 list, basically.
Okay.
Who did that? David Letterman? Is there top 5s or whatever?
He did top 10s, but close enough. That's probably copyrighted anyways.
Yeah, close enough. Exactly. So let's go back, Jordan. Let's go back down memory lane and see if you do remember the highs and the lows.
Okay, let's do it.
So I'm going to start with TV movies, Jordan. Let's talk about TV movies first. I'm going to just talk about overall scores first, but let's look at, you want to hear kind of our top 5 worst TV movies
of all time?
Of all time.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what would be I bet you I know what our top one was.
What do you think?
I think our top one was the one where the two dudes are stuck up in the Arctic and trying to figure out the mystery of who how the scientist died. I bet that's our top movie. A Cold Night's Death.
Yeah, Cold Night's Death. Let's start at the worst. Let's start with our worst first. I'll go in descending order from least worst to worst, I guess.
Okay.
So we've got so this kind of broke out weird because there's a lot of ties, obviously. So I was aiming to do sort of a top 10, but I think this is coming in a little bit longer than that. But we have a tie for 9th worst thing we've watched at 2.67. 2 TV movies got that rating, if you could believe it. 2.67. Strange New World and The Stranger. We have a 2.67. If you've got Strange in the title, that's what we're giving you.
I can't remember The Stranger. I remember Strange New World.
Stranger's the one where the man goes to the duplicate Earth on the other side of the sun.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That got that lowest score, huh?
Yeah. So that's coming in at the least worst. Next up at 2, tied for number 7, Jordan, at 2.5 rating. I Married a Monster and The Omen.
Now, I remember I Married a Monster was quite bad. I remember it was very anti-abortion. and the other one, The Omen, I barely have a memory of it, which probably explains why the score is so bad.
You don't remember the climax that happened during the St. Patrick's Day parade in Boston?
Oh, I do. That's right. They had a vial he had to catch or something.
Coming in at number 6, Jordan, on our worst list, with a solid 2 points, Computer Ghosts.
Oh, that was the Australian one, right?
Yes, of course.
It wasn't good.
Number 5, with a score of 1.75, Star Command.
Star Command. Oh, is Star Command? Is that it's they go and the old captain was he was stuck on a planet and they thought he was dead. Then he comes back and he runs the ship. Is that one?
No, no. I think this is the one. It's kind of like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek one, where these kids graduate from flight school and they go off on a mission and their captain dies and they have to take over, and like there's like an ice planet and there's like a robot.
We gave it that bad a score, huh? I don't remember it being that bad.
Well, coming in at number 4, Jordan, with a score of 1.17, The Danger Team.
No, that was bad. That's the claymation. I remember that. That was bad.
All right, and then we have a tie for second worst thing we've watched, Jordan, with a score of 1. It's Darkman.
Yeah. Okay.
And Red Dwarf USA.
Oh, yeah, both are bad. Yeah, Darkman was a little bit more fun, I think, in terms of what they put. Like, I know Red Dwarf was supposed to be fun, but it wasn't. I already know what the number one's going to be. I know it's going to be. Can I just say?
Yeah, say it.
It's going to be Justice League.
Yep, number 1 with a bullet with a score of 0.5, Justice League of America.
Yeah, so that means one of us gave it a 0 and the other person gave it a 0.5. It was, or maybe one of us gave it 0.75. It was a terrible, terrible movie. I still think I would agree with that. It's probably the worst thing we've seen.
All right, Jordan. Well, let's do the best of list then. Top 10 best.
Okay.
So we've got a 4-way tie for the 7th spot. So we're starting at 7 because it's a 4-way tie. Mm-hmm. All of the ones in 7th place have a score of 7.
Oh, okay.
And they are Between Time and Timbuktu, Max Headroom, North Star, and The World Beyond.
I'm surprised North Star got such a high score. And then, which one's The World Beyond?
It's got the Mud Golem.
I still don't remember it. Apparently I liked it, but I don't remember it.
A man with psychic visions goes to an island to rescue a lady, and there's a Mud Golem.
I literally have 0 memory of that. Anyways, I'm glad I liked it.
Pretty sure we watched it this year.
I don't remember it at all. The World Beyond.
Coming in at number 6 with a score of 7.25, Ghostwatch.
Ghostwatch, that was pretty good. That was the fake TV thing done, right? It was like a newscast and the spirits are attacking while the newscast was on. That was really good.
And now we have a 3-way tie for 3rd place, Jordan, with scores of 7.5. We have The Ghost of Sierra de Cobre, Here Comes Tobor, and The Clone Master.
I remember all those, and now, by the way, I do remember The World Beyond. I know what you mean with the mud guy at the end. Sorry that I couldn't remember. But all of those, the only one that's a little surprising is Here Comes Tobor, because I think the only part that was fun was when Tobor at the end of the episode just killed everyone.
Well, Jordan, number 2 with a score of 8.5.
Wow.
It is The Lathe of Heaven.
Lathe of Heaven was good. I still think it's become, for anything we watch, that sort of a low budget sci-fi sort of thing. This sort of it's the goal to get to. It's like, how do you do this? A really interesting idea, thought-provoking, visually interesting thing with no money. You look to that movie.
Yeah, it's the gold standard for sure.
Yeah.
And Jordan, in first place with a score of 9.5, near perfect. You were 100% correct. Mm-hmm. A Cold Night's Death is at number 1.
Yeah, so good it almost could have been in theaters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize, listener, if you're getting bored of this. Turn it off now because there's a lot more to come. Because Jordan, I thought it'd be fun to break it into individual things as well. Just kind of see our personal top 5s, though.
Okay.
But not just our personal top 5s, Jordan. How would you like to hear the 5 worst episodes we forced a guest to watch based on the guest's ratings?
Sure. Yeah.
So 2-way tie for 5th place. These guests gave the TV movies we forced them to watch 3 points.
To be fair, they usually pick them. I give them a list, so they pick them. So we can't be entirely blamed for it.
Okay, I like how you passed the buck there, but great.
Yeah.
So with a score of 3 in 5th place, these two TV movies, we have Baffled and Spectre.
Oh, Baffled and Spectre. Oh, one was I know Dave was on Spectre, right? Who did Baffled with us?
We had Will on to do Baffled.
Will was on with Baffled. Oh, well, sorry to both those people.
And then we have a 3-way tie for 2nd place with a score of 2 points. The guest gave 2 points to these 3 TV movies. They are The Danger Team, Strange New World, and The Stranger.
That's funny. Well, yeah, I mean, those were some of the worst ones.
And you know who watched The Stranger, Jordan?
Was it Will?
It was Will.
Oh, poor Will. I'm sorry. We have to have him on it for a good thing.
And number one, Jordan, with a single point, the worst TV movie we had a guest watch, Darkman.
And that was the fellow podcasters, correct?
Yeah, Rachel and Ryan from Yum Yum. We brought them on. We watched Darkman, and we all had a bad time.
Oh, I'm sorry to them. That's unfortunate. It was very kind they came on, though.
But Jordan, we've also done some good things in this podcast. We've let some people watch shows they really enjoyed. So here's the top 5 guest preferred TV movies.
Okay.
In 5th place, with a score of 7.75, Earthbound.
Oh, was that Travis?
Yeah, of course it was Travis. He loved it.
It had like a purple monkey or something.
In 3rd place, a 2-way tie for 3rd place. Both of these got an 8 by the guest. We have The Clone Master and The Lathe of Heaven.
Well, we do know The Lathe of Heaven, as you mentioned, was good. And The Clone Master, that was just being Kevin loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. In 2nd place, the guest gave a score of 9, Max Headroom.
Was that Mel who watched that with us?
Yeah, that was Melanie, absolutely.
Right, yeah.
And number 1, with a perfect score of 10, our guest Megan was committed to an insane asylum shortly after watching Rocket Boy.
She gave it that high score of Rocket Boy. That's wonderful.
A perfect 10 she gave Rocket Boy. One of the worst things we've ever watched.
It's perfect for Megan. It's perfect.
All right, let's get into ourselves then, Jordan. So let's do my worst 5 first, and I won't drag this one out quite as long because we'll have covered a lot of these before. For instance, in mine, my top worst one, I gave 0 to Justice League of America. We already know that's one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
And then I have a 4-way tie for number 2, which will make up the rest of my bottom 5. And my 4-way tie is I gave 0.5 to these 4 TV movies. One of them we've already discussed. I Married a Monster. I gave that a 0.5. But we haven't discussed these ones. These are all new. These are my personal lows. Where Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Really?
Rocket Boy, and the Wasp Woman.
And the Wasp Woman. Yeah. She becomes a wasp and she like has sex with guys, right?
Yeah. So did not like. I do like that Megan and I have such a wide vision of Rocket Boy.
You give it a 0.5. She gave it a 10. So whatever your feelings are. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. And for you, Jordan, your bottom 5. So the worst TV movie you've ever watched, you gave 0.5.
Justice League.
No, it was The Danger Team.
Oh, The Danger Team. Yeah, it was bad.
And then you have a 5-way tie for 2nd place. We'll end it at 2nd place because you have a 5-way tie. You gave all of these TV movies 1 point. We've covered 2 of them already, Darkman and Red Dwarf USA.
Yeah.
But you also gave ones to... Actually, sorry, we covered 3 of them. Justice League of America as well. You gave 1 point to. But the 2 you gave 1 point to that we haven't covered are Generation X and Winter Dragon.
Oh yeah, Winter Dragon was bad. Yeah, and you liked that more than I did. You thought it was interesting, and I was just like, "What is this?" It's like a commercial.
And then Jordan, we'll do our top ones now. Shall we do our top ones?
Yeah, let's do it.
Obviously, we've covered these before. They didn't get to the top without us liking them already. So obviously, number 1 for me, Cold Night's Death. I gave it a perfect 10, the only perfect 10 I've ever given. In 2nd place, 9.5 for me to The Lathe of Heaven. Obviously, big fans of those shows.
Yeah.
And I have a 5-way tie for my 3rd favorite TV movie we've watched. Stuff we've covered, I gave these all 8. Stuff we've already covered. Here Comes Tobor, I gave an 8. Max Headroom, The Ghost of Sierra de Corbray. No surprises there. All great movies. I also gave 8s to Generation X and
Really?
America 2100.
Really? So I gave Generation X was one of my worst ones and one of your top ones, huh?
Yeah. There's some big discrepancies for us there. And then Jordan, for you in the top TV movies, obviously you gave 9 to Cold Night's Death, depriving it of the perfect 10, but 9.5 is pretty good. You had a 2-way tie for your 2nd favorite TV movie. Both 8s you gave.
Yeah.
One being The Lathe of Heaven, and the other 8 you gave to The World Beyond, a movie you don't even remember.
I don't remember it, but I apparently liked it.
You loved it. It's in your top 3 all time.
There's a Mudman or something. I don't remember.
Number 4 on your list with 7.5 is Between Time and Timbuktu.
Yeah, that was good.
And then you have a 5-way tie for 5th place, Jordan. We've covered some of these, but you gave 7s to all of these movies. Ghost Watch, Clone Master, Ghost of Sierra de Corbray. This'll shock you. You gave 7 to Here Comes Tobor.
Yeah, I am surprised at that. But we both like that way more than I thought.
And you gave 7 to North Star.
North Stars too, huh? I must have really enjoyed it. I just, honestly, I can't remember a lot of this.
You have no memory of so much.
Which one had the talking dolphin?
All right. And just for fun, Jordan, at the end of our TV movie thing, this one won't happen anywhere else, but I was just like, you remember we watched three TV movie pilots for the same Jane Roddenberry show?
Oh, yeah, we did. They're called Genesis 2.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they call it? They called it, I can't remember the other two. I can't remember what the other two titles were.
Planet Earth and Strange New World.
That's what it was. Yeah. Right. And which of those did we like the best?
So Genesis 2, we gave 6.33. Mm-hmm. That came out in 1973. A year later, they did it again. It was 1974. They're like, let's make it again. Planet Earth.
Yeah.
We gave that 4.33.
Ooh, so not as good. Yeah.
And 1 year after that, 1975, they're like, we'll get it this time. Strange New World. 2.67.
I remember they kept the guy, the same lead actor in it with his toupee for the next two, but I guess we didn't like him as much as mustache from the first one.
Yeah, it's they didn't. We liked it though. We gave it the best ratings. We're like, that mustache. That's a high rating for us.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that again, where we watch like 3 versions of the same thing. It was interesting.
It's a rare thing, and I mean, I will say that first one with the mustache man. It also had him nuking that town of people, which I thought was, none of them got to those heights of just killing a huge group of people.
Yeah, a little diminishing returns after that.
Well, Jordan, I've also now broken out mini-series. So kind of we've watched some things. They've been like 3 episodes long, so it's kind of been weird. They're not like a series. They're not quite a TV movie. So I broke out mini-series in their own category. We've only ever watched 6 of them, so we'll just do the full 6 on the list and see how it goes. So in 6th place of our mini-series with a rating of 2 was Riverworld 2010.
Yeah, it was not very good, was it?
Did not enjoy Riverworld. Coming in at 5th place on our mini-series list with 2.92, Frank Herbert's Dune.
That's right. And the one guy got really angry at us. But yes, it was really boring.
Yeah, it was not very good.
Yeah.
4th place on our mini-series list, Jordan, with 3.88, The Invaders.
They're like in a diner and the Invaders.
Yeah. Scott Bakula. The aliens always are smoking. They love to smoke.
That's right. Yeah, it wasn't very good. That's true.
In 3rd place, Jordan, with 4.25, The Langoliers.
Yeah, and the Langoliers. Poor Jane really wanted to like it, and I remember then she was like, "Yeah, it's just not good." It's one of those things where it just didn't come together.
Yeah, exactly. I think like one part was much better than the other part, and it really fell apart.
Yeah.
A lot of parts in that sentence. And number 2, Jordan, on our miniseries list with 6.17, The Martian Chronicles.
Oh, yeah, The Martian Chronicles. That was a really, you know what it was? It was, dare I say, thought-provoking. It was interesting, and it had a bit of a style to it, and it had little vignettes, and so not all of them were great, but they were always saying something, and it was really interesting miniseries, which like had its problems. It wasn't perfect, but it was very interesting.
It had diminishing returns. It got worse and worse by each episode. But wasn't Kolchak in it, as I recall?
He was. That's right. Yeah.
And number 1, our favorite miniseries we've watched thus far, with 7.25 as the rating.
What is that?
Earth Star Voyager.
Earth Star Voyager, yeah. And they had like, wasn't there like a version of the Borg in that or something? They had
their own like Frankenstein kind of.
Yeah, that's right. Earth Star Voyager.
I think that's the one you were thinking of, where they find the old captain.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
All right, Jordan. Moving on. Let's talk about TV series. Let's look at like just TV series now. So overall, the entire series that we've watched. We'll start with the worst ones combined. We won't do individual. We'll do combined to start with. So top 10 worst shows we've watched.
Okay.
Coming in at number 10 with 3.92, Invasion America.
Oh, is that the cartoon?
That's the cartoon.
Yeah. I feel kind of bad about that. I don't think it was so bad. It was just like, maybe it was like, they didn't quite execute what they were going for, you know?
Jordan, you know what I say? Yosh.
You have such a good memory. Yosh. Yeah, that was great. I got to bring that back.
Coming in at 9th place with 3.87, Sleepwalkers.
Sleepwalkers, another one. Remember, I thought it was going to be good, and I was like, Luke, have you ever heard of this show? And then we're like, oh, there's a reason none of us have heard about it.
Naomi Watts is in it even.
Yeah, I know it's not good.
8th place with 3.75, Time Cop.
Oh, yeah, Time Cop. Yeah, Time Cop is like, it's just like not cool. It should be a lot better.
I just like that as the Time Cop. It's just not cool.
It's just not, yeah.
Coming in at 7th place, Jordan, with a score of 3.71, Misfits of Science.
Misfits of Science. Again, there's something there. It's just not quite in the execution, you know? Young Courtney Cox and her. What did she have? She was like electric powers or something?
Yeah, wasn't she lift things with her mind or something? No, there was Electric Johnny had the electric powers.
Yeah, you're right. She could levitate things. She was Professor Xavier.
6th place with 3.67, Jordan, Man and Machine.
Yeah. Oh, Man and Machine. That's right. Yeah, that had some issues.
And in 5th place with 3.57, so a point below Man and Machine, Jordan, Super Train.
Super Train. You know what's funny? I remember that sort of fondly though, just because it's so silly. It was such like it's a train that's like it's better than other trains, you know.
4th place, Jordan, 3.41, Outcasts.
Outcast, another show that like on the surface you look at it and go, this might be really good, and then you watch it and you're like, none of this works at all.
Yeah, it really set up as prestige sci-fi drama. Did not come together.
No. Another of my picks.
3rd place, Jordan, 3.36, Swamp Thing.
You know what's sad? You know what the trend is here, Luke? These are all shows I picked.
2nd place, Jordan, our second worst show we've ever watched.
Oh, it's gonna be one of them I picked.
Which is an average of 2.74.
Yeah.
Bionic Woman.
Did I pick Bionic Woman? I think I did.
I mean, it would check out.
Yeah. Again, another show like you're like, oh, this remake has got special, updated budget and special effects, and it's not very good.
From the creator of Battlestar Galactica, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's not.
And our number one worst show we've ever watched, Jordan, with 2.44. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Come Home, Mrs. Noah.
Okay, that kind of tracks. You know, it's funny. I forgot about that show because it's such a peculiar show. So you have to give it that credit because it's such it's a broad comedy set in space, and it's like, but yeah, it's not good. You love these eggs though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Love those eggs, that robotic chicken. I always think about it.
Come back, Mrs. Noah. Yeah.
All right, Jordan. Now that we've done the worst, do you want to hear our top 10, the top 10 best TV shows we've ever watched for this podcast, and probably in our life?
It could be.
Number 10, with an average rating of 5.68.
That just shows the quality of some of the things we've seen, yeah.
I know, it's really sad when that's where we start with number 10. Harsh Realm.
Harsh Realm was the 10th best show we saw.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Number 9, with a rating of 5.83. Kolchak the Night Stalker.
I remember it better than a 5.83. I understand why, because there was some really weak episodes, but I remember it more fondly than that.
Yeah, I do as well. Coming in at number 8 with 5.84, a 0.1 above Kolchak. You know how math works. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Earth 2.
And I think I like Kolchak more, but good for Earth 2.
Just squeaking out past Kolchak. Number 7, 5.86. These are moving up incrementally small amounts.
Yeah.
Sequest DSV/2032.
Really? Sequest is that high? Huh? I mean, again, Sequest had its moments, and I think it's a bummer that it became what it became, and I think the 3rd season could have redeemed it if it had a little more chance, but I'm surprised it's in the top 10, to be honest.
Well, now we're getting into things with a slightly higher rating. They're in the 6s at least. Number 6 on our list of best TV series, 6.38, Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes, yeah. It had some moments.
Number 5 with 6.48, Almost Human.
Wow, Almost Human, huh?
Yeah, broke the top 5.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Number 4 with a rating of 6.57, Space Above and Beyond.
You know what? I thought that was going to be our number 1 show, if I'm being honest.
There's 3 on top of it, Jordan. There's the top 3 we're getting into now. Number 3, 6.59, just barely beating Space Beyond. The Tripods.
The Tripods was that high, huh? Yeah, see, I remember Space Above Beyond better than I remember, or more fondly than the Tripods.
Number 2, 6.64, Day of the Triffids.
Day of the Triffids was pretty good.
And number 1, Jordan, the only series above a 7 for combined rating.
I don't know what it could be.
7.71, Ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet, that's right. He's so funny. We're talking about 5 years. It's just, it gets all condensed. I'm like, I can't remember this, but Ultraviolet was a very solid show.
It was pretty good. Well, let's have some more fun, Jordan. Let's keep this going. The listeners are having a great time. They're at the edge of their seats listening to ratings.
Yeah.
That's why we got the business out of the way at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into our individual top 5s for TV series.
Okay.
Obviously, going to be a lot of repeats. It can't be helped. So we'll start at bottom 5. Actually, I don't know why I said that. We'll start at the bottom 5. Our personal worst 5s. Starting with me, I have a 3-way tie for third place. So that'll be my bottom of my list. Mm-hmm. Is I gave a total rating of 3 to the following shows: Come Home, Mrs. Noah, Man and Machine, and Swamp Thing. So those are tied for third place of the worst things I've seen.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 2, 2.13. No Surprise, Bionic Woman. Mm-hmm. Not a big fan.
Yeah.
And then, Jordan, at number 1, my worst show, not on the list of our worst overall shows, with a total rating of 2, Other Space.
Oh, that's right. You hated Other Space. That's right. And then everyone else didn't feel the same way, so the ratings were never as low. That's right.
I believe I gave every episode of that show a 2.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Yeah. It was okay.
It was terrible. It was my worst show. I hated it the most. All right, Jordan, your bottom 5 here. Also very similar to the bottom worst ones. We'll start at the top this time for you. So your worst show, the show you liked the least, you gave it a total of 2 points for the entire series. Come Home, Mrs. Noah. Mm-hmm. No surprise there. It's number 1 on our total list, so no surprise. Number 2 for you with 2.81, Bionic Woman. Exactly like we're doing for our combines. Those are the bottom worst for you on both spots. Coming in at number 3, total rating 3.33, Super Train. Third worst show you watched.
I love that I was like, I remember it fondly, and it's one of the worst shows I've seen.
Number 4, not on our bottom worst top 10. So this is just for you.
Yeah.
Worst series for number 4, 3.59, Sliders.
Again, another show I'm like, I kind of miss Sliders. And I was like, I hated it when I watched it. I just don't remember.
And number 5 with 3.6 total rating, Man and Machine.
Yeah, Man and Machine. Yeah. It's. I only remember bits of it, but those aren't good bits.
All right, Jordan. And now let's have a quick look at our top favorite series, our top 5 favorite series. For me, again, not going to be about surprises. In 5th place with 6.46, Planet of the Apes. Mm-hmm. 4th place, 6.62, Almost Human. Number 3, 6.67, Day of the Triffids. Number 2, 6.7, Space Above and Beyond. And number 1, 7.06, The Tripods.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bit of variation from what they were combined, but like you can see, my top 5 were pretty similar to what's happening in the top 5 of the overall. And similar for you as well. Number 5, you gave your top show, number 5, 6.35, Almost Human. Number 4, top show, 6.43, Space Above and Beyond. Your third favorite show, 6.71, Ultraviolet. Your second favorite show, 6.83, Day of the Triffids. And, of course, the only show you've ever given over 7. In fact, I'm looking at our top level list now. This is the only show combined or even of mine that has a 7.33. So this series you gave 7.33 to. Mm-hmm. Do you know which one of the shows it was?
No.
Space Rangers.
They got a robotic ear. I know why I gave it such a high score now.
An insane choice on your part.
Space Rangers, yeah. I guess I just thought it was fun.
It's 0.5 ahead of any other series you've ever watched.
Maybe I was just having a good time that month, you know?
I guess so. If only you could get back there, right? Whatever was happening that month
Whatever was happening in my life, yeah. I think of some of the bad ones, but I can't remember that good one.
All right. Jordan, I know you're bored. I know everyone at home is bored, but we've got more to come here.
That's okay.
Why don't we get into individual episodes, Jordan. Let's get granular. Let's get really granular. Let's look at individual episodes.
Okay, let's do it.
Sorry to pull you out of the episode there, listener, but I realized after we recorded that I had another part of my spreadsheet that I forgot about, and it was the best and worst episodes as chosen by our guests. So I thought I'd just come back in here and add that to the list since, our guests put in so much hard work, and I also put in a lot of hard work figuring out which was the best and worst episodes they watched, and I didn't want to leave it undone. So without further ado, why don't we hear what our guests' best and worst 5 episodes were? Starting on the worst side in the top 5. We actually started in top 3 because there's a 4-way tie for 3rd place. On that is Galactica 1980, Episode 7, Night of the Cylons, Part 1. A lot of parts of that episode, apparently. It was with Kevin. Kevin got a lot of bad ones, I guess. But, I mean, that's his choosing, I suppose. And then also on that list with a score of 2, Sequest DSV Season 1, Episode 7, Night of Shadows. Our guest Derek did not enjoy all the ghosts in that episode. And then with another 2, Sleepwalkers, Episode 4, Forlorn. We'll be hearing about that one again very shortly, but that was with our guest Merrick. And finally, in 3rd place with 2 points, it's Super Train, Episode 4, Superstar. We had our guest Olav from the Hugo Book Club podcast on that one. He was very excited for Super Train. We gave him one of the worst episodes. And then our final 2, the worst episodes we made a guest watch. Both of these are in 1st place, coming in with a rating of 1.5. We have Come Home, Mrs. Noah, Episode 1, In Orbit. Nico did not enjoy that. And then also with 1.5, Sliders, Season 5, Episode 1, The Unstuck Man. Guest Jane, longtime guest Jane, came in for that one. And then on the best of side for our guests, we have only really a top 2 here, because we have 6 in 2nd place, all with ratings 8.5. We have Day of the Triffids, Part 2. Nico came in for that, so he got one of the worst and one of the best. So, it kind of worked out for him. Planet of the Apes, Episode 3, The Trap, with our guest Kaveh. Sliders, Season 2, Episode 8, Post-Traumatic Slide Syndrome, with guest Jane. So, again, another person with a top and a bottom. Space Above and Beyond, Episode 6, Eyes, and Space Above and Beyond, Episode 21, Sugar. Both of those Jane were on. Jane got a lot of best ofs. That's 3 best ofs for Jane. Good for her. And finally, in our 2nd place rating, number 6 in the 2nd places, Star Cops, Episode 4, Trivial Games, and Paranoid Pursuits with our guest Jeff. I'm glad Star Cops got in there somewhere. A big fan of that show when it was on. I'm surprised it doesn't end up anywhere else in this list, but it pops up on the guests anyway. And finally, the best episode a guest ever watched for Continuum Drag with a perfect 10 is Earth 2, Episode 16, Brave New Pacifica. Our guest Joe loved that episode with the spiders. I think they controlled some sort of warp technology in caves. She's a big fan. She's a big fan of that episode. Unfortunately, forgot to add this when we were recording the episode properly, this hiatus announcement, but I'm remembering it now. If only we could hear what Jordan's comments were on this. But wait, what's that? Another record scratch?
Oh yeah. Fascinating. Sorry, I must have fallen asleep. No notes on my end.
So, Jordan, here are my the worst episodes I've ever watched for the show of any TV shows, like the worst episodes.
Okay.
I have. Hold on, I need to move my spreadsheet over.
I love that there's a spreadsheet for this.
So I only have 2. So I'm only doing 2 places here. 1st place for worst episode, worst episode I've ever watched, and 2nd worst episode I've ever watched. I have a 13-way tie for 2nd worst episode I've ever watched.
Well, when you don't like something though, you really hit it. I find, to be fair, I try to be a little bit nicer sometimes. Like I really like is you really hit something when you hate it. I'm always like, oh, I hate it. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. 4 out of 10.
Okay, Jordan. Well, you have a 7-way tie, so why don't you calm down?
Okay.
13-way tie for my 2nd least favorite episode of all time. These all got 1 point, Jordan. You've got Bionic Woman, Episode 5, Face Off. You've got Automan, Episode 12, Death by Design.
Oh, Automan.
You've got Automan, Episode 13, Club 10. You've got Beyond Westworld, Episode 4, The Lion.
Okay, I don't remember.
Galactica 1980, Episode 6, Spaceball. Misfits of Science, Episode 5, Sort of Looking for Gina. Do you remember any of these episodes?
Vaguely. I think I remember the Battlestar Galactica one.
I remember all of these episodes. Otherworld, episode 5, Village of the Motor Pigs.
That I don't remember.
Do you remember Otherworld?
Oh, Otherworlds. You know, I mixed up with Outcast. Otherworlds where the family goes to different dimensions. That I remember. Yeah.
Imagine Outcast had an episode called Village of the Motor Pigs.
It's they went. They're like rock stars in one episode. I remember. Yeah.
Well, I got good news for you, Jordan, because Outcast is on my list of episodes got 1 point for episode 7 and episode 8.
Yeah.
Sleepwalkers, episode 4, Forlorn. That was the episode where the lady got mad at men and she had a bad dream.
I only remember the episode where the kid was having a dream. That's the only one I remember.
Sliders, season 4, episode 13, Lipschitz Live.
That was bad.
And finally, 2 Supertrain episodes, episode 5 and episode 9, The Queen and the Improbable Night, and Where Have You Been, Billy Boy?
That's right. That's the he keeps everyone hostage, right?
Yeah. That's where Woody Allen, fake Woody Allen,
that's right,
takes hostages.
Wow, I remember.
All right, Jordan. I only have 1 episode for my worst episode I've ever watched. I gave it a 0.
What's that?
I've only given 1 episode a 0 ever.
Is it Supertrain?
It was Otherworld, episode 6, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar.
Yo, what was that episode about? I don't remember.
They went to a alternate world. They're on an alternate world, and they went to a town in an alternate world where women are in charge.
I can see where this is going. It's funny. I don't even remember.
It was very bad. All right. Let's move on to your top 5 worst episodes. It's not really top 5. What I did is I had to split them up because you have 2 worst all-time episodes and then 7 like third place episodes, basically. Third worst episodes.
Okay.
So of those 7, you gave them each 1 point, Jordan. And those are First Wave, season 1, episode 22, The Decision.
Okay.
Do you remember that one?
I remember First Wave. I don't remember the episode.
It was the finale of the first season, and it was a clip show, and you were furious.
Oh, that's right. That was bad. Yeah, I should lower the score. Clip show.
Galactica 1980, episode 10, The Return of Starbuck.
Oh, yeah. Where they, you know what's funny? I was just reading about that, where they had the whole cast in the last episode. They're like, let's just give him a different character.
You were furious about that as well.
Yeah.
Otherworld, episode 6, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar.
Well, I also didn't like that episode.
Outcasts, episode 6. They don't title any of them, so it's hard to know. They're just like all bad.
It was about like ghosts or in the water or something.
Exactly. Sliders, season 4, episode 13, Lipschitz Live.
Bad episode.
Yeah, we agree on that. Sliders, season 5, episode 1, The Unstuck Man.
Oh, it's where he realizes they killed Jerry O'Connell, right?
Yeah, that's where they come in. They've completely changed the cast.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
And Supertrain, episode 4, Superstar.
I can't remember which one that is.
I'm not sure either. I think that might be maybe there's a celebrity on the train and that guy needs to get his wife to like do a movie or they're gonna like the gangsters are gonna kill him.
That's right. Yeah, that wasn't very strong. Remember when Larry Linville was in it though? That was good.
Yeah, that was good. And Jordan, your 2 worst ever episodes you've watched for Continuum Drag. With 0.5, you've got Supertrain episode 9, Where Have You Been, Billy Boy?
Yeah, we feel the same on that.
And you have Forever Night, season 2, episode 25, Close Call.
That was the last episode?
No, that was another clip show.
Oh, another clip show. Yeah, I guess that's just my thing. Don't give me clip. Well, you know the thing is when you're doing a speed run and you get a clip show, you're like, give me a break.
It's nice. It gives you all the stuff you missed.
No, it's not nice.
We'll wrap this up now. We're almost at the end. We're going to do best episodes. Are you ready for best episodes?
Let's do it.
Individually that we've watched.
And on a high note.
Exactly. So for me, my top 5 best episodes I watched, I have a 2-way tie for number 5 with 8.5. It's these episodes. Tech War episode 13, Zero Tolerance.
Really? Tech War got in there.
That's the one we watched for a bonus episode that I loved.
Oh.
And Space and Beyond episode 6, Eyes.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
Coming in at number 3 with 2. I have 2 episodes at number 3. They have ratings of 9. Another Space Above and Beyond, episode 15, Angriest Angel.
Yeah.
That's Chiggy Von Richter, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
And Planet of the Apes, episode 11, The Tyrant.
I don't remember that, but I remember there was some strong episodes in there.
I'm pretty sure that's the horse racing episode.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Number 2, best episode I've ever seen for the show, It's going to be not a surprise to you. Space Above and Beyond, episode 23. Tell Our Mothers We Done Our Best. I believe the final episode.
Good episode. Really good final. It's amazing it's not the number one show with all these episodes, you know?
It's true. And my number one episode, Jordan, with a perfect 10, my only episode with a perfect 10, Space Above and Beyond, episode 17, Dear Earth.
Is that the second last episode?
No, that's the episode where the man wanted strawberries with thick cream.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
I love that episode.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Jordan. So for you, it was a little tougher to break down. I tried to do your top 5, but really it's going to be your top 2 because your second top episode is a 9-way tie.
Wow.
These are episodes you've given an 8 to. Almost Human, episode 6, Are You Receiving?
Okay.
Sliders, season 1, episode 1, pilot.
Oh, it was a good pilot.
Space Rangers, episode 2, Banshee.
I love it. I like Space Rangers.
Space Rangers, episode 5, To Be or Not to Be.
Yeah, I want to rewatch all Space Rangers. What a good show.
And then you have 4 episodes of Space Above and Beyond at 8. Episode 5, Ray Butts. Episode 9, Choice or Chance. Episode 15, Angriest Angel. And episode 22, And If They Lay Me Down to Rest.
Right. Well, we got a couple of the same ones there.
And then coming in at number 1, your all-time favorite episode, you gave it a 9. Space Above and Beyond, episode 23, Tell Our Mothers We Done Our Best. The final Space Above and Beyond.
Yeah. Again, isn't that crazy? We have so many good episodes. I guess there was just a few that were bad, but in Space Above and Beyond's defense, we watched all the episodes, which we hadn't done for so many shows, right?
No, for sure. And I think that's what it is. There's some like real highlights in Space Above and Beyond, but there's some pretty low lights that really, I think, kept it from lower on the charts for us in the end. But like when it worked, it really worked.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, Jordan, did that jog your memory on a lot of things?
It's funny how, yeah, it's just so funny how much of this stuff we've seen and what sticks out and what doesn't. And it's not always necessarily the best and the worst, just certain things. Like, I would have forgotten I watched Space Rangers. Now I'm like, yeah, Space Rangers, great. It's funny how...
My favorite TV show of all time.
Yeah, apparently my favorite show. It's just funny how things work like that, yeah.
It's also funny that you're just, like, talking about the ones you remember and the ones you enjoy, and they're all the lowest on your list.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. It's funny how your memory changes things.
You just love being so mad at them.
Yeah, or you just remember certain things more fondly. Like, they don't seem as frustrating. Like, it's like, remember how bad... Comeback Mrs. Noah was. And then you look at it, you're like, it's a silly little British sitcom, but it was a pain to watch.
I mean, it had that robot chicken. That was all. That's all we needed.
Yeah, there's that.
Well, it's been a long hiatus announcement episode because we did a very extensive recap of our last 5 years. But listener, I just want to say thank you for coming along for the ride for the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. I can't believe we've done it this long. It's kind of incredible. We've managed to do 260 episodes, and we really appreciate you going along for the ride.
Do you remember at one point, Luke, this is just between you and me, and the microphone, we were starting this, and I remember we were looking at like other podcasts, and we looked at some guys, and they had like something, it was at like the hundreds. I'm like, look at these losers. Who would do like hundreds of episodes? and then here we are knocking on 300.
260. It's pretty good. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Somehow those 5 years just flew by.
And sometimes they did, and then sometimes they didn't, but sometimes they did.
No, I mean, the 5 years flew by. The actual individual recording of the episodes were always a drag and a nightmare.
And I'll say this, we've never lost an episode. We've come close, but we've never lost one.
Never lost an episode. It really is something, huh? I mean, there were a couple close calls back when we started for sure, but we've been good since then.
Yeah, we've been pretty good. Remember that one time we had a guest, we won't say it, but we had a guest and we found at the very end of the record their microphone was turned backwards the whole time? Remember that?
Oh, yeah, that was great. I mean, the listener can probably figure it out if they listen back. But,
just go back and listen to it, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, and this year, our least technical difficulties ever, Jordan. It's like we're getting the hang of it.
It only takes 5 years, 10,000 hours, you know?
But yes, listener, thank you for joining us on this 5-year journey. And we will talk to you, I guess, once we figure out what's happening after the hiatus.
Yeah, it will be back, and we'll see how much is the same, how much is different, but it will still be the show.
All right. Jordan, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to the last 5 years. It doesn't feel like it sometimes, I know, but looking back, all is good memories, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Space Rangers, come on. I love it now. All I can think of is Space Rangers.
Can't wait to rewatch it in the future in the next season.
And I'll rewatch it and be like, oh, it's not very good.
Yeah, that's what season 6 is, by the way. We're just going back and rewatching things we've already watched.
The things we liked.
All right, listener. Thank you for joining us again. And Jordan, I'll see you after the break.
See you then.